Trigger warning. In this episode, we discuss topics related to breast cancer, including diagnosis, treatment, and personal experiences. These conversations may be sensitive or triggering for some listeners. Please take care of yourself while listening.
Welcome back, Adiós Guapo. Hablaremos de la importancia de la prevención, la detección temprana y sobre todo para apoyar a las personas affected by breast cancer. We have one of our very own sharing her story today.
Hi, it's Maria.
Hey, it's Flaca.
Hey, this is Jessie.
Hi, soy Meli.
Hi, it's Lisette.
And this is Liz.
Okay.
Take
All
your
right.
time.
So soy Maria, and I'm the breast cancer survivor of the group. Today, I want to take the time to share my story for myself and for also the other breast cancer survivors. I feel like there's a lot of stigma around cancer, any kind of cancers. Also, even in our culture, a veces there's a lot of shame around it. And I feel that it's important to bring awareness to this because there's many ways to prevent and to catch it ahead of time, versus it being too late. In September, when I found my tumor, it was in July of 2023. I was just doing a normal breast exam because I always did my breast exams. I feel like it's important to do a monthly. So I was doing my normal monthly breast exam, and I found a lump. And I was like, holy shit, what is this? It's like you couldn't miss it. It was like big, it was hard. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? So that day I was going to like my mom's house, and oh my gosh, my mind was like spinning. It was just like from that moment, like I was just like, what is it? And like I couldn't like stop thinking about it. It was just on my mind. And then I had my husband, I shared with my husband when I got home in the night, and he's like, yeah, like that doesn't feel right. Like we should, you should get that looked at. So I was like, yeah, definitely, I'm gonna go to the doctor. Well, I freaking had to wait till like the end of August to go to the doctor because it takes forever sometimes to get an appointment. So this whole time I'm just wondering, what is this, And by the time I went in the end of August, the PCP right away sent me for a mammogram. So this was when I was 39. So I had never had a mammogram. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go for a mammogram. And then I had to wait like another month to get the mammogram. So there goes the time in waiting, I feel like, and I've spoken to other cancer survivors, and it's like the worst period because like you don't know what's going on. It's in your mind. You can't stop thinking about it. So it's like the scariest period. Obviously, it's scary even down the line, but like the not knowing and just wondering, it's kind of like drives you nuts. So then in September, it's like como que a veces el cuerpo se acuerda because like as we're entering September, it's going to be 2 years. And it's like I start like just kind of like going down that lane, like, okay, this is when this happened. So as we're entering September, in like the middle of September, I went for the mammogram, and it was like, it's like the scariest thing because I'm sure when you're going for your first mammogram it's scary because you don't know what it is. You've only heard stories and you don't know what to expect. But when you know that you're going because you have a lump, it's like I was like my heart was in my throat. Like I was just like trying to keep it together because I was like, okay, we don't know yet. Because at the same time, I was trying to be optimistic and think like, oh, maybe it's nothing. Maybe, sometimes, things happen and maybe I just got some, sometimes there's like lumps and whatever, and they're not anything bad. So I was just trying to be positive. So right away when they did that, they had me come back like a few days later. I think it wasn't even a week. Like they wanted me to come back right away for like an ultrasound. And I was like, oh shit. So they're like, we just want to make sure this and that. So they had did. So then I went back like a week later. They did the ultrasound. And it was nice because then they got me in right away. I didn't have to wait another month for the ultrasound. But once they did the ultrasound and then they did another mammogram, like more thorough, the doctor came in and was like, we just want to make sure that, this is not what we think it is. And I told my husband, I was like, fuck, man, it's fucking cancer. I was like, I fucking got it. Like, what?
Was he there with you?
He was there with me. He was there with me, like, at my appointments, but he couldn't go in, like, for the exam.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but when they came in to tell me, like, we have to send this, like, you're going to have to come in for a biopsy. So then they're like, then they let him in, and then, they were very like, we don't know what it is. We just, they try to keep that, So then I was just like, then I was like, this is it. Like, this is it. Like, I'm fucking gonna go through this shit. Like, I was just like freaking out. And I was like, calm down. So then they were like, we're gonna call you in a day or two with the results. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Then I went back for the biopsy. So in a few days, they got me in. Like, everything started moving very quickly. Like, they got me in right away. A couple days later, I went in for the biopsy, I believe. And then when I went in for the biopsy, it's almost like a minor surgery. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. Like, that. I remember that day, like, my sister had said she was going to go with me. And then she shows up with, like, my mom and my sisters. So it was nice to have that support. And that day, my husband couldn't go with me because he had to go to work. And I remember, like, just trying to get the kids to school. And then you're just, like, trying to keep it together. But you don't know, like, I didn't know what was going on. So then once we went to the hospital, they did the biopsy. And then when I was in there, it was so painful. It was horrible. And then I told the doctor, I was like, can you just tell me, like, this is cancer, right? Like, this is it. And she's like, I'm going to be honest with you, it is. So I was like, fuck. So then I got my mom and my sisters out waiting for me. And I'm like trying to keep it together. Like, I'm like just trying to keep it together. So then I went out and I'm like still like, I like lost it when the doctor told me in there by myself. Then I had to go for like another fucking mammogram after they put in like these things to like, they put it in to like identify like where it's at. It's kind of like a little hook or something. And then they know where it's at. So that's what they did, like when they did the biopsy, and then they put those little things, and that was so painful. And then I had to go for a mammogram. So then I'm like, and the mammogram, I'm like freaking like just fucking sobbing. Like I was just crying. And then I was like, okay, I gotta go out, and I like gotta keep it together because it was hard. Like I don't want to tell my sisters and my mom, like, yeah, it's this. So then we get out there and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm trying to keep it, brave face. And then my mom and my older sister went to the washroom and I told my little sister, I was like, I fucking got cancer. And she was like, and she just like held me. We're like in the hallway, like sobbing. It was just the scariest thing, man. So then a couple days later, they called me with the results. I was with my little sister. And then it was like go time. Like, I'm very grateful and appreciative to my doctors because they moved so quickly. Like, they were like, we're going to do this. You got to see this doctor. I had to see the genetics doctor. It was like so many appointments. I remember like just not being even able to work because like I had appointments like every day, like like for the first few weeks, but they moved so quickly. And once they called me with the results, and then like I said, I went to see the cancer doctor, and she told me like she was so thorough. She gave me like all my options, like, Like, you know, it's so crazy, like everything that's out there, like the different kind of surgeries, what you could do, what, you know. So it was all up to me, like, what did I want to do? And I was just like we're getting it out. Like, just take this out, and I don't want this in me, you know. And nomás estaba pensando about my kids. Like, honestly, like, that's all I was thinking about. Like, I was like, I need to be okay for my kids. So that went on through October. I went in, like, for many, like, CT scans, all kinds of testing, genetic testing, up until then in October, like, all those testings were happening. And then we had a trip to go to Cabo in November. So I was like, oh my goodness, like, am I still going to, I told the cancer doctor, I was like, am I still going to be able to go on this trip? Because my niece was getting married. And she's like, you're going to go to Cabo. She's like, you're going to go to Cabo and you're going to enjoy your vacation. You're going to enjoy your wedding with your family. She's like, everything's going to be okay. She's like, you're going to be okay. And I'm like, okay. So, like, I was just thinking Cabo. Like, okay, just get me to Cabo, and then we'll worry about everything else after. So I went to Cabo, and it was, like, in the middle of all this craziness, it was, like, yo nomás pensaba in my mind, like, mi hermana me decía, like, how are you, like, so okay? Like, how are you so okay? And I'm like, I gotta keep going. Yeah, I had my moments where I was, like, literally, like, just sitting on the couch. I would cry. I would be okay. But, you know, I was like, I gotta keep it together. I gotta keep going. No me voy a rajar. Yeah. So then she would just, and I was just like, you know what, this is what, and I just me enfoqué that this was God's plan. Like, this was God's plan. Si yo fui la que tiene que cargar esto for my family, like, I pray to God that, like, no one in my family, none of my friends have to ever go through this. If you chose me, God, like, then okay, vamos a hacer esto, vamos a hacerlo, y con tu ayuda, and then that's why es cuando me enfoqué mucho. Like, I went back, like I shared with you all, like, I've always been religious, but then it's like I really was like I turned to God. Like, that's what I did. I was like, you got me. So then we went to Cabo, y todo salió bien bonito, and my kids were so happy. Like, I just was so happy. And cuando regresamos la primera semana, cuando regresamos en noviembre, and then, like, two or 3 days later was my first surgery. So it was like regresé, and I was, like, so exhausted, and then it was like, now I got to get ready for the surgery. It is just something that you just can't prepare for. Like, no sé, con todas mis fuerzas y todo, I had my first surgery, and I, like I said, I wanted them, you know, que lo sacaran, and I was like, saquen todo, like, no quiero nada, like, I don't want to risk this coming back, porque siempre hay chances de que pueda regresar. And if I would have went with the lumpectomy, eso nomás te sacan el tumor, and then it's like, you have to do chemo.
Oh, okay.
So when you do the lumpectomy, it's always like you're gonna have to do chemo porque todavía tienes the breast tissue. Yeah. So then once I decided que me iba a quitar todo porque I didn't want to risk it. That was really hard. I cried a lot. Porque sentía que uno no pide que le pase eso a uno. Y como que un pedazo grande de mí was getting taken away from me without me asking for that, you know. It just hurt. It hurt so much. I was really sad about that. But I know that for me, it was the best decision, because I was like, I just can't risk it coming back. No puedo. So then, the first surgery, like I said, I had the double mastectomy. And then it was so painful. It was so painful. Me tuve que quedar like an extra day en el hospital because I was in a lot of pain. And then that day era el cumpleaños de mi hija. That was really hard because estaba en el hospital on her birthday. And I was just thinking, like, como 11 years ago estaba en el hospital because I had her. And then 11 years later, I was there because I had cancer. But everything went well. Los doctores were like, todo salió bien. We got it out. I should have wrote down the name of my the whole surgery because it's a long ass name. But what they did is that they took the fat from my stomach y lo pusieron in my breast because I didn't want ¿cómo se dice?
Implantes? No. Implants? No.
The silicone?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't want silicone. So then that's why it was like a double. It was like a triple surgery porque me sacaron the cancer. They did my breast and then they did my stomach. So that's why it was so painful.
Uh-huh.
Because some people, like everyone does different things. Some people would just get it all taken out and not put anything. I still wanted to have my breast. Like I was like, that's really important to me. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful que todo salió bien. I had a follow-up surgery, which was last year in 2024, in July of 2024, just to like do some like touch-ups and little things that el doctor said that he needed, to take care of. And so that was in 2024. And just getting used to my body and like my scars, because like, todos dicen, oh, está bien, I mean, me imagino que dirán like, oh, está bien, like she's good, But backtracking to my first surgery, entonces ese mandaron el tumor to get tested. So I was diagnosed with stage 1 cancer. So they caught it on time. That's why it's so important to do your breast exams, to go to the doctor, to get checked, porque yo lo caché like so in the beginning, like imagínense si no lo hubiera cachado tan rápido. And obviously así pasa siempre. And so lo mandaron, and then I was still waiting to find out if I had to do chemo.
Oh, uh-huh.
So they were like, okay, we're going to send it out y depende los niveles que salgan, como lo calculan, I'm not sure. But they're like, we're gonna let you know if you're so then I was still waiting to find out if I had to do chemo. So from November to the end of December, the week of New Year's, me hablaron y me dijeron que it was all within limits and that I didn't have to do chemo. And I was like, thank you, God. Mm-hmm. And then ya íbamos a entrar at 2024, and I was like, okay, cancer, bitch, te quedas in 2023. We're going to move forward. And it was hard. It was hard coming back from like that surgery, mentally, physically, emotionally. The hospital has a lot of support groups. Those support groups helped me a lot in the beginning of 2024 because you get to share and just kind of be in company and would support each other of other breast cancer, or not any kind of cancer, but there was a lot of breast cancer survivors. So we were sharing a lot of like what we were feeling was all similar. It's been a journey, pero like I said, nunca me dejé, nunca me rajé. And I did it, for my children and my family. And it's just very important que se hagan sus exámenes y que se chequen siempre. Porque it's like, you can prevent it from getting to like those deadly stages. In the midst of me dealing with that, I had a friend that I had met through social media around the time that I was going to the doctor to get the mammograms to find out, what was going on. She also was dealing with it, and she was diagnosed with colon cancer, and she passed away in December. So that was really painful because we had exchanged numbers and we were like there for each other.
I'm so sorry, Maria.
And I was really sad to hear que ella she didn't make it. And hers was, I think hers might have been like a later stage, like a stage 4 or something. Estaba advanced.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's, hagan sus citas y vayan al doctor. And thank you for being here with me and letting me share my story. Como digo, ahora 2025 has just been, you know, también just healing and you know, just going through all of that. It's like hay días que, you know, todavía todo, because now I have follow-up appointments like pretty much every 6 months, like with my oncologist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking like hormonal therapy, medication. So, you know, hay días que are a little harder than others. Pero siempre trato de pensar like how blessed I am. Y que, you know, I made it and that I'm here.
We're so glad you're here.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing, Maria.
Thank you for giving me the space.
That's a lot. I don't think I would have handled it the way you have been handling it. Because I think it's not only your body healing, but your mind and everything. Like that you think of, oh, I could have been doing this instead of doing this, and now I'm doing this, and this is the way I think now because of what happened to me, you know? So you're being very brave.
Thank you.
And strong.
Thank
and
you.
the PTSD that comes, you know, after that, like any little pain that you get or any little pulsation, anything, you're like, is this cancer?
Yeah.
Or like that I cannot live with like that.
Yeah.
That'd be scary.
Like siempre está in the back of my mind. Like no se va. It's gotten a little bit better, but it's like in the beginning, like I was like, oh my God, like I have to do this and I have to do that, and oh my God, what if it comes back? And it's just always there. It's como, it's just como una little bad little presencia ahí, like just like.
me
just
being me,
kinda-
I would probably be like, okay, I got to work on my living will. I got to work on, like I would start prepping. Like if I got diagnosed with, I'd be thinking like, okay, this is the eye opener place in my life, and who's gonna go to what, you know? So
Yeah.
just being real. So
Yeah. No, it's scary to be faced with death and not know what's going to happen. But I just I was just like, no puedes. Like, you can't do this to me. No, don't take me now. I have so much more to do.
So I think when you mentioned the dates, I think my niece and my sister and my best friend pushed me. I think it was around the same time that they pushed me, because I mentioned the dumbest comment to them that sometimes I feel like one of them or the other one was leaking. And so then they're like, that's crazy. What do you mean? And I'm like, oh, doesn't it happen to everyone? And they're like, no. So then they were like, no, you got to go get that checked. And then I also felt like a lump. I rarely do the, ¿cómo dice que se llaman?
Self-breast exams.
Self-breast exams, because my head is like, I don't know, I can't touch myself. Or, you know, like I rarely do that. But then I did feel something. So then when my husband came home, I was like, can you check? Or, because, you know, I was like second guessing myself, because then they put it in my head to go get checked. And I'm like, well, I do have a lump. So también llamé y me dieron la cita like far out, because it's always that's always the problem. Nunca hay providers available when you need them. So then ya cuando fui, me hicieron like the mammogram y todo eso. And they're like, oh, like me enseñaron la picture que vieron some cloudiness, but that's all they said. And they're like, you just like keep an eye on that. And I'm like, okay. And I like never went back, because I'm like, it's nothing. But it's crazy how you were also going through that. And I had recently started that job. That cuando me dijeron que tenías eso, I had to go see you. And I was like crying, because I'm like, because when I met you, you were like the nicest person. I'm like, why do things happen to the nicest people? And I was like bawling. And then I think I made her cry, because I'm like, oh my God, no, that was not my intention. But I was just like, how? Like, that's not fair. This lady's so nice. She's got children. I'm like, why? But yeah, I remember like you telling us bits and pieces, but thanks so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
today.
And thank you for being there for me too.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I remember you praying.
Yeah,
me.
we
Thank
went to
you.
church before your surgery. We went to church and we lit up candles for you. Sorry.
And those were the things, you know, that were helping me. Estaba my circle. I mean, I have a small circle, but in those times, you just like you really see like who's there for you, and there wasn't many people there for me.
Y small is okay con que sea mighty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Eso siempre lo que yo digo. But then there was, you know, the few people that they reach out, you know, and I appreciated that because it was like if I was having a hard day, that text, you know, me motivó, or that text made me smile. And so I was grateful for anything that, you know, that and whatever everyone could do, because I know it's not easy. But it's hard.
Well, me, unlike you guys, I was outside. Like, it wasn't me personally going through stuff. It was my mom. So back in 2013, she kept complaining that she had this pain, like this bolita in one of her breasts. And, you know, my mom's not the type to go to the doctor, like, unless she's absolutely dying. So one night, I guess it was, you know, very, very painful. And she asked my dad to take her to the ER. And the ER, you know, did like the bare minimum or whatever. And they referred her to, you know, an oncologist or whatever. And same, you know, an appointment, you know, all far out. But when they took her or whatever, hers was actually a stage 3 out of 4.
Oh my God.
And it was aggressive.
Wow.
And it was growing and it was going fast. So, you know, me being the oldest of 5, you know, the responsibility fell on me because my dad was the provider. So he needed to go to work and make sure that insurance was paid so that my mom could get everything done. So, you know, lots of appointments, right? Lots of just different labs. And my mom estaba toda picoteada, all bruised from the arm. She has, you know, those veins that are hard to find. So they had to put a PICC line on her, and everything's very painful, right? So I had to kind of like step up and, you know, take my sisters to school and pick up a pizza and make sure my dad was good and la casa estaba limpia and stuff like that. So she unfortunately had to go through chemo, had to go through radiation, had to go through a double mastectomy, all so painful that she refused to get reconstructed. So she is unreconstructed, right? And she wears, you know, prosthesis and stuff like that, because she cannot bear to think that she would go under the knife once again after everything, right? So everything you see, like on TV, right? Because for me, it was like, I can't believe this is happening, right? You see her lose hair, her eyelashes, her eyebrows, right? She's trying to hide from the people. She's not wanting to go outside. She's not wanting to leave the house. My sisters are scared, right? They see her that she looks different and decayed and tired, and most days she's just sleeping, right? So she's in a lot of pain, a lot of medication. She's nauseous, she's puking. My sisters are like, you know, that's not mom. Like, they wouldn't want to come around her wigs or her room. You know, she would tell them not to come in the room because there was things there that they wouldn't understand, right? So yeah, she went through that aggressiveness through it all for a couple of years, and they took it out. She survived. She's a survivor. My mom's still alive. And now I take her to appointments to get, you know, special bras and special whatever. But like you said, like Maria, the toll that it took on her appearance, right? The scarring, the discoloration and stuff like that. She's very aware of that. So you could tell that her confidence that I grew up around or whatever is very different because she doesn't wear certain shirts, or she doesn't, you know, wear certain shapes of dresses or whatever because the scar comes out or the discoloring comes out, right? So I've seen her like slowly become, you know, shy and stuff like that, which is weird because if you guys know me, I'm the least shy person, right? I'm very outspoken and very outgoing and stuff. And my mom was very much like me. And now she's just very like reserved and very like, you know, whatever. But you know, like you said, a guerrillera, right? So she pushed through, right? She was very strong. You know, she wouldn't tell us how bad she was going through it, but she was going through it. I could tell. Like there's something about her that died. And now, like, she says everything like, ay, me duele el brazo, se me duele el brazo, se me duerme, whatever. She's like, ¿y si es cáncer? Ay, hija, ¿y si es cáncer? Like, she'll say things like that. And I'm like, Mom, it's not cancer, relax. Like, let's go get it checked out or whatever. You probably, you know, have a pinched nerve or whatever. But, like, she freaks out about everything. So, yeah, so I had to kind of do that in 2013. And same like you, it's really funny to hear your story because it happened and we also had a Mexico trip that we were all going to go to. Unlike you, she's like, she shut down. She's like, I'm not going. ¿Qué tal si me pasa algo en el avión? ¿Y qué tal si me pongo peor allá en México? Y ahí me voy a morir. And, you know, so it's like, so we canceled that trip. And even getting the money back for the airline tickets, we had to provide like medical documentation that there was somebody that was in a bad shape that they couldn't fly so we can get a refund. And, you know, that took, you know, a lot of work. But we got our money back for that. And we didn't go on that trip. And it was so crazy because my fiance at the time had just passed in March, right? Mom got diagnosed in the summer. We went through all this ordeal in a fall, winter, right, of 2013. So it was fucking a year. So even though it seems like it was like, you know, over a decade ago, it's about to be 11 years. It's like, it feels very much fresh. I can still smell the smells like when I would take her to chemo, the alcohol, smells of hospital, like triggers stuff, you know, like the plastics, the syringes, the everything, you know. So it was hard. And then much like you, Maria, our sisters it's 4 of us, we had to genetically get tested to see, you know, if anybody had the gene or the cells, or, you know, we all had to get mammograms and stuff like that. And to keep things light, we would kid around because my sisters all have big ass knockers, right? Like they got big ass boobs, and my mom used to have big boobs, right? And you know, my sister's like, oh, I get back pain or whatever. Don't you hate it when you get under boob sweat? And I look at them, I'm like, I don't know what that feels like. I have a 32A.
Yeah, like, como when I went for my mammogram, she's like, just lift it and put it, set it there.
And I'm like, put what there?
I'm just setting it.
Yeah, like, you want me to approach the bar? That's what you want me to do? Like, yeah, but like,
we would to stand like J-Lo, like just stick my butt out.
Yeah.
Que le hiciera así.
And like I would look at my sisters and like they all got big boobs, and I'm like, y'all bitches gonna die, right? Because y'all got big ass boobs, and you know, so we would like, you know, think that mathematically the more boob you had, the more chance of death. And and now they're like, you know, they got these big ass knockers or whatever. I'm like, well, I'm gonna be good, girl. Now I worry now, like, you know, I check, right? And now turning 40, and now I gotta get a mammogram because I have now, you know, the chances of, because it happened to my mom, and now I worry for my daughter, right? So we think about things like that too. So
So
that was tough.
¿Cómo les dijeron a sus hijos? Like, how did your parents tell you guys? And Maria, how did you tell your kids? Or did you guys just find out?
So my mom's very, like, I don't know even really how to explain it. Like, she just came home and she's like, ya me chingue. Yeah, you know, like she was just
blunt.
She's just unfiltered. She's just like, ya me encontraron cáncer, ya me va a cargar la chingada. Pues a ver qué me dicen los doctores, you know, like she's just very like
Pessimistic.
You know, very pessimistic. That's perfect, pessimistic. So, you know, we talked about it in the family, but we didn't speak about it in any type of groups, therapy, none of that jazz. My mom was like, no le van a decir a nadie, no preocupen a la gente, no le van a decir a su abuela, you know, a ver cómo nos va, you know, pues le voy a echar para adelante, duro para adelante, pero no le vayan a decir a la gente. Si la gente pregunta, ustedes nada más díganle que estoy enferma o que tengo otra cosa, no le vayan a decir a nadie. So it became like a shame thing. The shame. And that's the, like, si la gente llega a saber que I'm in this part of my life where I'm the weakest or whatever, like, yeah. So we told like immediate family, right? Like that had to know because they were gonna find out.
Right.
And but that was it. So very little people knew about that, and that was crazy. But if you see my mom, like she would go to her chemo or her whatever, and she would dress up like se ponía sus aretes. She's very like a fashionista, right? So se ponía sus aretes or whatever, and she would look like she was fine, but you know she was not fine. As soon as she came home and all that makeup and everything came off, like. It was, she looked really messed up. So
rough.
Yeah. So
yeah, but me, I I had a conversation like with my son, like ya que, llegó mi esposo, primero le dije a mi esposo when I got the results that day, and then he was devastated porque, you come on, you hear cancer, you're like, what the hell? Like, it's the scariest word.
You hear cancer, you think death.
Absolutely.
Yes, so
Like,
he was devastated, and then I felt like I had to keep it together for everybody. And then hablé con mi hijo y le dije, and they're young, and he was just like, okay. I remember he was a freshman, so he was just barely, starting high school, and it was a hard year. That was a hard year for him too. Y luego mi hija también pues estaba más chiquita y como que no entendía, like she really didn't go, but they didn't have to see me go through, everything that your
All
mom
the
went through. That's so
changes,
hard. Yeah, that's hard. Y por eso, like, digo yo que, uno dice, she's fine. Look at her. She had her hair. She didn't have to get, have chemo. But it's like, it's so much more, so much more. Like, yeah, I didn't lose my hair, and I'm grateful to God for that. Pero I lost so much more, like so much more. And it's still with me. Like I was saying, like every time I go to the oncologist, it's in the cancer center. It's in the hospital where I found out. And it's like going down memory lane. Like I have it's like a whole thing, I'm like driving there, I drive back, I'm like, I'm a mess, like inside. Like I just feel so sad, so devastated. And so this is like when I leave the cancer center, like I'll treat myself to like something like a drink and I'm like, we deserve this. And, I did have to have physical therapy también. I forgot about that porque cuando me hicieron, en ese October que me hicieron todos los exámenes, they checked my lymph nodes. I don't know the name of the surgery, pero eso te chequean like to make sure that it didn't spread to your lymph nodes. So it didn't spread for me. It was all contained in the breast. So ahí también tengo una scar. So no podía alzar mi brazo porque me dolía. It was just like now I can put it up porque I did physical therapy, pero oh my God, that physical therapy. La señora sentía yo que me iba a romper mi brazo, like que me lo iba a romper. I wanted to scream so loud, like that was the worst, man. Every time I would go, I hated it. I would be so sad. Every time I would be like so scared porque dolía tanto, pero she got the knot out. And now I can lift my arm.
Yes, and cáncer with my mom. They did the thing or whatever. Her, she did have it spread that way a little bit.
Oh,
so,
man.
pero her arm would swell up. It would retain so much liquid that they had to put that. It was like a tube that had cushions in it, and it would like pressure, different, and it would like massage her arm to get the liquid to come out porque se le hinchaba su brazo. And that was the same side that the PICC line is on. So after everything, now she can't do anything to that arm because it's just weaker. That one is less strong, right? So everything's on that one arm, and then now that one gets abused because that's the only one that they can't touch because the other one had the cancer on it.
Yeah, porque esta ya no puedo. I have restrictions on this arm, so like I can't have any blood work or blood pressure, nothing.
Ever?
Because never.
Oh.
Because it can, like I was saying, the water retention, it can get thrown off y se me puede hinchar mi brazo. So we want to prevent, like I can't, like no me puedo pegar duro.
Maria.
Porque it can cause it to like swell up. And I have a sleeve that in the beginning, cuando sentía like mucho dolor, porque me dolía mucho in the beginning,
Compression.
y so me ponía the compression sleeve. Y then they said también like if I travel to wear the compression sleeve because of the
pressure.
Yeah, so everything like it always has to be on my left arm. What? Yeah, it's a lot.
So then you gotta remind doctors if you ever go.
Sí, cuando voy al doctor. And then I had to get a bone test because of my hormonal therapy.
Bone marrow or bone?
Bone density test.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, they said in a year I'll have another one. So they have to check my bones because the medication can cause osteoporosis.
Oh my God.
Which
is
means
like
thinning out the bone.
Yeah. So then I go there and I understand, people are curious, but this lady was asking me like so many questions. And I'm already, cuando uno va al doctor, like como cuando voy al hospital, I'm already feeling some kind of way. It's just the freaking trauma. I get triggered. And then she's like asking me all these questions, and I was just like, yeah, I found it. I was in the shower. She's like, oh, but she was so sweet. She was just trying to find out, like, how did I find it? And, she was nice, but it's just a lot. And then I'm like, yeah, you can't, no, you got to do this arm. And then you got to explain, oh, why? Sometimes they won't ask. And I'll be like, oh, but then there's times that they do. And then you're like, gotta explain.
They're supposed to, actually. Part of their training is, do you prefer a hand? Like, no questions asked.
Nunca.
And then you say,
that's
so
why they
when you do lab or phlebotomy, like whatever, one of your training things is to ask, do you prefer a hand? Not like,
just
which hand can I do it? No. Do
Yeah.
you prefer a hand? Como cuando vas a Chick-fil-A, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
You're trained to do that,
To say
and
that.
you're supposed to do that.
Yeah. I usually have to tell them.
So now you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Yeah. So this is a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, I got small boobs, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a boob job. And then I'm like, you hear all these horror stories or whatever. And I'm like, like Angelina Jolie, right? She took hers out in prevention because her mom had cancer. And then she had like some type of,
the BRCA.
So then she, to prevent it, she took both of them out and then reconstructed and got a boob job. So I'm like, well, I wanted that too. But then I'm like, for just fashion purposes, right? So clothes can fit better, quote unquote. And then I'm going to suffer through silicone and pain and surgery. I'm like, it's worth it. And then we'll leave it alone.
Not. It's horrible.
I wouldn't imagine you with boobs.
No. Me caigo de cara así.
No.
But I
That's
do feel
bonita,
like
sí.
it's more common now to see like people taking them out because of the silicone issues, right?
Yeah. Like people will do it and be okay for a few years and be, the shit. And then they take them out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then like, if you really notice, like these older ladies that still have them, like, no se ve bien when you're 60, 70 years old and your boobs touch your chin. Like, come on, be so for real. Right? Come on.
They will never touch them.
Yeah.
Can't touch the knees
But like you were
already.
saying about
What do they
Angelina.
touch?
The knees?
And the knees.
Yeah, see, like there's residents that sit in the wheelchair and then una por un lado y otra.
trabajo, I'm like, boom.
And now I'm like,
That's the first thing that I do when I get home.
Me duele because I don't do other
my mom says that
wire,
too.
Pero me duele
El wire.
because of my scars.
Yeah,
So
my
I don't
mom
do no
said
wire.
the same thing.
And sometimes I'm like, man,
You should
I
create
poner nada.
a line, something. No tienen
If you don't-
specific.
So if you think about it, when you go buy like a bra or a sports bra, you don't think about the dimensions of the fabric or whatever. When I started taking my mom to go get like the prosthesis or whatever, like she wanted a certain width on her strap for support. She wanted a certain width of support for like her back to hold, the weight.
Que se sienta-
Nothing wire porque las scars were
nada wire.
unbearable, right? She's like, no puedo respirar. Or, the hooks in the
Duele.
back, tienes que tener cuidado like where they sit. Like que si era una wide strap that had maybe 5 clips so you can adjust, este me duele. Like, nada más quiero de 2. And like even where the hook sat on her back was like a big thing. Donde sentía under the pits or whatever, like she needed to be like precise.
Yes.
It's
Sí,
just
it's
crazy.
just-
I go
yeah.
buy like a bra and I'm like, oh, it's padded, great.
Yeah. And I don't want no padding. I don't want no underwire.
Gonna go buy a
porque me
bathing
duele.
suit. My mom, you won't catch her
And-
on a V-neck or nothing. You will not catch her any of that. Porque
Yeah.
nada más anda
Ouch.
instinctively just pulling the shirt up,
And
I'm just,
no,
Mom,
so
you're fine.
last year I had the second surgery, but this year, like, I forgot what we wanted to do, and I just like was like, I'm not ready to wear a bathing suit. I don't want to wear a 2-piece, man. Like, so it took me a minute. I did put a 1-piece in, I think it was in the beginning of August. That was my first time. That's my
Nice.
surgery,
Yeah.
but it was a 1-piece.
I love one
There's
piece.
cute one pieces. It's okay.
I
Yeah,
said
it was
that's
all
all I
black
wear.
one.
I never do that.
I'm like obsessed with like the 50s, like bathing suit and stuff. So,
High waisted.
Yeah,
Yes.
Why not?
High-waisted
Uh-huh.
ones.
Yeah, high waisted, or even the 1-pieces were cute. Polka dotty or whatever, right?
Yo siempre veo los 2 pieces. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that looks uncomfortable because like the little underwear. So I was like, how do you move and do
Right.
stuff? I'll be like worried something's gonna fall out.
Right. Like, how much hair do I have to remove to wear that?
Nothing. It was
Yeah.
popular in the 50s.
No, I know, right? Oh, el hilito, like, te escoce, and you're like, what do you do? Jiggle? Like, how do you scratch it? Like, I'm good.
You can't wear those because there's kids around.
Yeah. I mean,
They
if you're
don't
going...
care.
Dude, if you go to, like...
There are people that don't care.
There's a lot of people
If you go
that
to,
don't
like,
care.
California or Miami, like...
Those other places.
There is a dental floss front and back, bro. Like,
But
almost.
they can use it. They have
Yeah.
bodies like...
Right. And it's like, what? How? Like, that's so uncomfortable, bro. You're going to get a yeast infection.
I've been watching Love Island. Y anda nomás en su...
Man. Oh, I love
Tanga,
Love Island.
tanguita.
Yeah. Todo el día.
Todo el día.
In Fiji.
I'm like,
Hot as hell. How bad is your pH balance, lady? Come on. Let's be so for real.
And I'm like, how do they do that? They're like just walking and their butts just...
Imagine us. No.
And that's why we ain't on them shows.
No, we're not.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Well, muchas gracias.
Thank you for sharing.
Your bravery is
Yes.
admirable.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You too. It's the caregiver is not an easy role either. That's what I wanted to also share. Mi hermana was the one que estuvo conmigo y también she has that, like como tú dices, like it's like a certain drive or like una canción. We have like a whole album that we used to play. And that's like, I call it like my cancer album. And so cuando voy and I have my appointment, I put it on and I just kind of like, okay,
Let
like
it
let's
consume
feel,
you.
let's sit with these feelings. It's okay. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to pretend like it didn't happen because it's easy to do that. And I'm like, okay, let me feel.
It just you feel so like helpless, right?
Yeah.
A person that you are absolutely in love with could potentially, not be there. You see them go through pain, right? If it hurts seeing my mother, and then if I have to ever like do something for my daughter, like yo me muero, bro. Like the pain is so unbearable. You want to take it away from them, and you can't. It hurts to see them in pain. So they cry, you cry, right? They feel like shit. Your day's ruined too. So it's like,
Yeah, I think it's important we talk because we haven't touched too much on like then going, right, and preventing, because I think especially in our culture, like you said with your mom, right, unless she's like her arm's falling, no va al doctor. I know a lot of people that are like that, and I'm like, no, if like it's a consistent pain or something, I'm like, just go. You're not going to lose anything from going, que te digan you're fine. Because it's better to go and get that than to be too late.
yeah. All too often I hear, los doctores ni saben nada, que mejor me voy a ir a México a
Y me van a
curarme.
cobrar mucho.
I know.
El dinero,
Yeah.
siempre.
Es lo que no entiendo de lo del breast cancer porque hay muchos donations towards it. How about if the person doesn't have insurance, they don't help them out?
So, little backstory on that. My former fiance, his mom had cancer, but she had public aid, so like regular public aid insurance. And I saw her go through the turmoil of having to find doctors that would take that insurance and the waiting
Yo nunca voy a
time.
entender que son millones
Yeah.
de dinero que
Y
se...
no los
Yeah,
aceptan.
people walk, they do runs for breast cancer.
Yeah,
Where does that money go, right?
Where is that money going?
So it's also, isn't it also supposed to be going to like figuring out
Research.
a cure? Yeah.
Research.
So
It depends.
Me and my thoughts, I think the cure has already been found. There is
Yeah.
no way that robots are doing surgery and we don't have the cure for cancer, right? It's just the world makes more money by treating it and
making it.
Pues
billing
ahí está la
insurance.
persona que según, I don't know if it's a lie, but I don't know where I heard it. The guy found cure for cancer and they killed him.
Yeah.
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 He found the cure. He found the cure for cancer and they killed him. That it was not healthy for the planet in a way that, like the insurance, they would have been winning more money.
Big
jobs,
pharmaceutical
trabajos
companies.
para las
Yeah.
personas.
Cielos.
But I think if you are supporting a cause, it's fucked up. For me, I think I did donate it one time to breast cancer. But when I heard there was a lot of people telling me, oh, but it's not going towards the person. I stopped donating. I'm sorry. I'm like, it's fucked up because it would have been bigger. You know what? It's like the St. Jude's hospital. You know for a fact every kid that steps there, they don't pay nothing.
Yeah.
Every time when I go to the
money
store or
goes to
whatever,
them to help
I
them.
donate even $20. Okay, let's go to donate. Because I know it's actually going for the family. But for the breast cancer, I feel like it's fucked up that there's a lot of people that actually donate a lot more, and it's not going towards a person, and that's pretty sad.
Yeah,
And there's cancer centers everywhere.
Porque todavía le están cobrando una la aseguranza. Todavía me están mandando biles. I'm like, otros fucking.
And it's stupid
It's
because
crazy. And I'm
I
just
hear,
like,
ahorita el breast cancer del month de October, I hear a lot of people donating or doing things, or let's go into a kermés and this and that.
Like you would feel that it would be able to help, right? And like
For
cover
all the
people.
money they're
like,
getting,
and
don't tell me
like
that
if you become diagnosed.
And if you look at the research, I went through it a little bit. St. Jude's Hospital doesn't get not even the fourth of what breast cancer is getting. And they're telling me that these people, they're not doing as much as St. Jude's Hospital. All the families are being taken care of. Y hay mucho niño. Mucho niño.
That's so sad.
Y una cosa que son millones de dinero que contribute to it. You're going to tell me the person not getting helped?
Yeah.
I think that's messed up.
Yeah.
But that's good that you did your research and
Now you know not
now
to.
you know. And
I stopped. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you
Or
wanna
donate
know
directly to the person.
Es lo que te iba a decir. I prefer, you know what, here's 200, or I know it's going to be hard for you, whatever.
Sí.
But if you're going to be donating something, just make sure people where you're donating, because I think it's messed up.
Yeah. I
And
know
St.
sometimes
Jude's,
I'm always like,
sí, es cierto. Y tú dices que tú pasaste por eso. Pero cuando yo escucho del St. Jude, porque siempre están diciendo, no pagué yo nada, stories, and look at things and whatever, wherever they like, oh, do you want to donate for, we're donating, there was a store in New York and Company, or we're donating for St. Jude's Hospital. If you donate $20, they'll even give you a little bracelet. I'm like, keep the bracelet. I'm like, here you go. Porque yo sabía que el dinero iba strictly to the family.
you know, this is way off topic, but when I was getting my status adjusted, I was terrified, right? That I was going to go to Mexico and stay down there for whatever reason. I wasn't going to come back. And I was driving home y me salió un comercial de St. Jude's, and I was like, oh my God, like my mom keeps telling me to pray, like hacer la novenaria, whatever, San Judas. And I'm like, okay, so this is a sign that I'm going to pray to you, San Juditas. And if I come back, I'm going to make a hefty donation to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, because no me acuerdo muy bien como el de que mi papá también me decía de que de Dios, que todo lo puedo en nombre de Jesús. Plus, so I was like, doesn't mean that I'm going above Jesus. Like, it's all of you together. Jesus and Juditas. I'm praying to all of you together. But if I do come back, I'm make a hefty donation to St. Jude's. And I did that. And como dijiste tú, I feel like it does go to the children and
to the family, because it's a burden. You don't want to be working. You want to be next to your child. And it's the same thing for the breast cancer. There's a lot of people that go through it. They don't have the income, or they have to actually, like your dad, he had to work so he can be paying the insurance. If not, your mom wouldn't get the help.
Yeah, my
and there's
husband too.
millions and millions of money they collect.
Yeah, but back to your original question, Jessie, like I was definitely, able to see the difference in the quality of care.
yeah.
The rushness of getting care, like,
Cuando tienes aseguranza.
cuando tienes, like my dad had
Private insurance.
Blue Cross Blue Shield with the best union there is around, right? And then there's, mi ex-suegra that is like Medicaid, and it's like, oh yeah, you'll come in, 3 months from now. And then you're in a chemo room where there's like, 35 other people, right? Mi mom le traían hasta agüita y juguito y pillow y warmy, everything. You know what I mean? The difference is real.
You got
very
to see
visible.
those too. Yeah.
Very visible.
Wow.
And it's messed up. I don't know
is.
who's the president of that. They have to change it. They're getting money, and a lot of times, cuando uno dice, cuando están pidiendo dinero afuera, así una persona, yo siempre le doy $1 o el change que yo tenga. hay mucha gente que tengo al lado de mí, pero ¿por qué les da? Mira, si se lo quiere comprar en cerveza, en lo que sea,
That's what I said.
yo ya hice mi bien.
Uno
Ya
quedó-
depende, ya queda
uno
de
con su
ellos
corazón.
y qué es lo que vayan a hacer.
Es lo que yo también, I'm like,
So, entonces, uno ya si uno mira al presidente eso del breast cancer, ¿a dónde está viviendo?
Yeah, I don't think there's really a president or
Pero-
one
o-
organization. There has to be a
There's
government
probably one.
entity. It's like a
Yeah.
government entity that runs everything, and you
Y
know,
es que hay mucha gente bien mala.
doctors are
Yeah.
gonna go and make their money. And muchos doctors they're there for the money, and they're gonna get paid for their
Es
services.
cuando
And-
pasa algo con lo de Katrina, cuando pasa, hay mucha gente que se beneficia de eso. I'm like, you're
The
going to
natural
hell.
disaster.
You're enjoying it right now, but you're going straight to hell.
sí.
That's messed up.
We're all sad now. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Deep in our thoughts.
Well,
I'm
thank
sorry,
you so
I'm
much,
not-
Maria and Flaca, for sharing your stories del día de hoy. Les agradecemos que hayan abierto las puertas ante nosotros. Nos tocaron el corazón. Créeme que son unas mujeres muy fuertes.
Made us cry.
Yeah.
Son unas cosas que uno, como dices tú, uno los mira y los mira bien fuertes. Ustedes dos son unas personas que yo admiro demasiado. Del valor que tienen de pasar con todo esto que han pasado. Y no es porque uno diga que yo estoy fuerte, hay momentos que uno se quebra. Pero déjame decirle que son muy admirables. La respeto demasiado y muchas gracias por abrirnos sus corazones y entregarnos sus historias más que nada. Esperemos que el día de hoy hayan aprendido algo. Chequeen, es muy importante. Ya sé que uno de mexicano tiene relato hasta que el día de que me estoy muriendo voy al hospital. Pero es algo muy serio de tomar en cuenta. Y muchas gracias por escucharnos el día de hoy.
Gracias.
Adiós.
Adiós, guapo.